Phil, good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning, yeah. I'm very happy, very happy. A little bit hungover.
I was going to say, I'm delighted you woke up to take the call. I was like, I'm a bit concerned about everybody else we have calls lined up with this morning as well, that they're not going to make it up for us.
No, I knew, and I'd set my alarm for you anyway. So, and no, we've had plenty of chats on your channel with Ivan and everything over the years. Good banter, and I wouldn't have missed it this morning.
Come here, what was your overriding emotion as the second goal goes in last night and you realise that it's actually going to happen, that not even a global pandemic is going to stop this, Phil?
No. And I think we knew it was going to happen, and people were looking at ways what it might happen. And with this Manchester City team, a total admiration for them. I certainly was expecting them to win last night. And I thought, well, that's only right, because this team, my team, has something special and deserve. Throughout this pandemic, it's been really hard, and the players have shown sort of great character throughout it. I thought, I want them to get the just desserts on the football pitch, playing. Yes, it'll be in an empty stadium, but I wanted them to feel that emotion, to be together. And the scenes when they were in that hotel last night, I'm glad they were together. Obviously, they looked as though they were sitting apart. They probably made sure that they were. I thought it was great, because it's that feeling, that emotion. You know, I'm quite proud to have done it 7 times, but the way it's hyped up now, it's been 30 years in the waiting. It was absolutely wonderful, and they are a very special team.
They're a really special team, and I was so delighted that after the Everton game, there was just a concern that the break was going to mean that everybody was playing bad football for a while because they just weren't sharp. And
absolutely.
And then the Crystal Palace game happened, and there were 4 sensational goals, and they were back to everything that we knew they could be. And it just felt good as a neutral to see this Liverpool team perform the way we knew they could at the end of the season.
Absolutely, and I think I don't know, Jay, whether you watched some of the Bundesliga, the first week of it. The first round and the second round of games, that was quite similar. Trying to get used to the crowd, trying to get used to no crowd being there. The games were quite flat, and then they picked up. I think the players got used to it, and then I think there was really some good games. Maybe that's what we're going to see to finish this Premier League. But you're quite right. The game against Everton was dull and boring. There was nothing was sharp. It's quite easy pre-season to sort of line your team up defensively to just get a good line on the edge of your box than it is to be creative and be sharp in that area. But that game against, and I know the 4 goals were quite exceptional, but it was the quality of play, what we've known for them, the gegenpressing which Jurgen brought to the club, that high press at times, you're going, wow, this was quite exceptional what we were seeing. And I'd watched Crystal Palace against Bournemouth. I know it was Bournemouth, but Palace looked good. They looked strong. They looked good on the counter. They had good things going for them. And I thought, ooh, these have hit the ground running. And we wiped the floor with them. So it was a special performance. And hopefully we get a few more games like that.
Phil, it hasn't been a straight line for Liverpool over the last 5 years in terms of success under Jurgen Klopp. There were periods in those first couple of years where there were difficult results, and there were moments where the crowd maybe weren't fully convinced that he was the one who was going to bring them to this promised land. When did you first realise that actually he had built something very special here?
Well, you knew what he'd done at Dortmund and how he played, and similar teams, if you want, similar cities. You're looking and you think, you've got to believe in this guy. This guy is a good. And yes, I totally agree. I was talking to somebody and I said, I don't know what it was, a couple of Octobers ago, and Jurgen had been here. People were calling for his head. It was that October, November. I'd been here 1 year, 2 years. And I was thinking, this is ridiculous. Where are we going to get another manager of this ilk? This guy, we have to believe in him, and trying to tell people, convince people. But there was the phone in before it, and I thought, this is crazy. But you had to give this guy time. But look back, somebody was showing the team that he sort of inherited against Spurs a few years ago, and you went, goodness gracious, you had Sacco and Skrtel at the back, 2 raw, and you seen the chance that Sacco was taken the other day. that's what you had to deal with. And he waited and he got it right. Don't forget, not just 5 years, 10 years ago, it's just gone. This club, this team, this club were going into administration when FSG took them over. So it's been quite a big turnaround. We had to believe in the owners, we had to believe in Jurgen, and now we're getting the reward. It's not only lifting of trophies, some of the football is quite exceptional. For Liverpool to finish top above a great Manchester City team is quite phenomenal.
I think that's a good point, actually, the role of the owners in all of this and the transformation, even when you go and see Anfield and how... Because I remember covering stories about how some of the fans and some of the people living around Anfield were upset with the way the club were handling things. And then the club hired a load of people who worked in the area to explain to them what they needed to do and started to do things in a way that was in tune with the locality. It's a very unusual thing where most of the ownership groups who come in are doing it for their own ends, and I'm sure FSG are going to be ultimately super profitable in all this. But they realise that the best way to be profitable is to have a team that reflects the culture of the city and reflects the traditions of the club.
Absolutely, and that's what it was. They were quick learners because they'd seen that what Hicks and Gillette had not done, and they've gone oof. And I think they did quite quickly. What they'd done in Boston, they replicated on Merseyside. They didn't want to sort of upset. They didn't make promises that they weren't going to be able to keep. They weren't sort of pronouncing that we're billionaires and we're going to absolutely throw loads of money at it. They were clever. And like, listen, I'm like, I want a 80,000 seat stadium. I want this. They've gone, hold on a minute. They did things. They've done that new main stand, which if you've been there, guys, it is quite astonishing. And I'm going, well, why didn't they do the Anfield Road at the same time? Have one lot of mess and get it done with. But they've been clever because they've kept money to make sure that goes to building the side as well as building the stadium. People want to move away from Anfield. No, they did the same in Boston. And you're seeing it. And the Anfield Road will get done when we get through this pandemic and when the finances are right. And that is what they've brought. They've brought a lot of sense to the purchasing of players. And Michael Edwards behind the scenes, who has done the due diligence, what they do on players is quite extraordinary. And all these people, little pieces have been put into place to make this team. Hopefully, I hope that it's the cycle again. There'll be a lot of football clubs and fans who don't want to see the Liverpool cycle come round again. But it looks as though it's here for a few years to come.
Who does get the credit for signing those players, Phil? Is the transfer committee still in operation? How does that actually work?
Yeah, they do. But as Jurgen said, and I remember him a couple of years ago, he says, yeah, it's fantastic, and these guys do. People talk about the Moneyball situation, how they look at players and what they see and what they can actually bring, not as a player. We've seen bad eggs at a lot of football clubs, and it doesn't help the mood and the attitude and the dressing room, particularly when things start going wrong. So you have to look into it. Yes, they have this committee, but as Jurgen said, he has the final say. If he doesn't think it's right, and he listens to everybody, and it's wonderful because he's got a fantastic way about him, Jurgen. He doesn't say, I'm the cleverest man in football. I need good people around me. And I think that is such a shrewd way to look at things. And he relies upon them. But I think if he doesn't feel and doesn't see that it's going to be right for the club and for the team, it doesn't get done. So the buck stops with him, and rightly so. I think that should always. But the people who have worked, it has done extremely well, and it's great. But I think you've still got to keep on doing that, and that's why you keep on. In this Liverpool team now, guys, I think you have to improve while you're on top, and it's not to rest. And my opinion, I still would have gone for Timo Werner, and he could have sat on the bench for a while.
Yeah, well, look, it's going to be interesting to see who they do sign in the summer, and if anybody actually ends up leaving. Phil, one last question for you. Steve McManaman last night on telly goes, this is the greatest Liverpool team ever.
Sorry?
Yeah, go on.
Listen, we have had some absolutely fantastic teams, wonderful sides. It is possibly that, 1978-79, I've always said, has been the greatest Liverpool side. Attack and defence, midfield, everything. The blend was astonishing. But in this modern day, to compete against some of the wealth of these football clubs and the players that have been brought into our Premier League, it is possibly the greatest Liverpool side ever. There's just something special about the aura of it. To go 97 points last year, guys, 97 points losing one game was absolutely incredible, and not win the league. And a lot of people thought, well, you've had your chance. You can't repeat that again. Not against Manchester City and the other teams. And they did. So, yes, to do it in the background of the likes of some of the super clubs, as we call them now, it possibly is the greatest ever Liverpool team.
Right. That is high praise coming from a genuine Liverpool legend. Phil, and not just a legend in your playing days, but a legend for setting your alarm clock for us and getting up this morning. I really appreciate it. Thanks a million, man.
I wouldn't have missed it. My pleasure, guys, and have a good morning.
Congratulations to you and to all the Liverpool fans out there this morning.